Hello, fellow Redbirds. Welcome to BirdFans4Ever Podcast number 32. Please follow us on our @BirdFans4Ever Twitter account to be notified of our latest podcast videos and to participate in our fun polls. Also, go to our website, www.birdfans4ever.com, where you can find a list of all our previous podcasts. Finally, visit BirdFans4Ever on YouTube and dunk on that subscribe button. Our YouTube site has all of our previous podcasts. In addition, YouTube has our archive of classic Redbird games that we've accumulated thanks to so many Redbird fans who've been kind enough to share their video libraries with us. We hope to keep adding to our collection of games, and if you're a fan, chances are you will find a game on there you will want to lose a couple of hours watching. You can check it out. One of my all-time favorite Redbird basketball games is the 1990 MVC championship game versus SIU Salukis at Redbird Arena. Steve and I were at that game sitting on the baseline 2 rows up, and Pemberton might have been there too, I don't remember. No, he was on the court working to bring us home the win. Still love watching that game. Our guest for today played locally for Bloomington High School on the football field and the basketball court. He graduated from BHS in 2018 and played at Vincennes University in Indiana for 2 years. Then from 2020 to 2022, he played for the Leathernecks at Western Illinois, where he averaged 13.4 points a game and had his career best 33 points versus Ball State. For his last year of eligibility, he transferred home to our Illinois State Redbirds, where he had a 28-point game versus Eastern Michigan and 16 points and 5 rebounds in Horton Fieldhouse versus the SIUE Cougars. We'll be right back with our podcast featuring Colton Sandage.
Hello and welcome to episode 32 of BirdFans4Ever with Colton Sandage. He just graduated, and how you doing, big boy?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
This is awesome. So Colton redeemed the program by a huge win in Horton Fieldhouse. He's got a national championship with, tell me the junior. I just wrote it down. Vincennes. Yes! So, hey, man, this is, sometimes I'm not always good with that. So, and then played at Western. So, Colton, like we started always on the podcast, how did you get to ISU? This is going to be a long one.
Yeah, so even in high school, going into my senior year, I still didn't know if I was going to do college basketball or football. So going into my senior year summer, I had no offers, anything like that. And then in July, I got a couple offers for basketball. So I honestly always thought I was better at football. I thought that was going to be at the route I was going to have to go. So when I finally got when I got the basketball offers, basketball was always my love. But when I got the offers, I'm like, all right, yes, I can do this. So I committed to UT Arlington in August of my senior year, and was good, signed everything. And then in football season, week 6, I tore my ACL. So that was all good. The coaching staff, I signed to Scott Cross there, and he had 3 straight 20-win seasons. Everything was good. He said he was going to keep me. And then in March, all of a sudden, I think they had 23 wins, and he got fired.
Really?
Lost in the conference championship game 3 years in a row, and the athletic director fired him. So I think this would have been March. New coaching staff comes in. They're telling me they're going to keep me, everything, until about April, probably around this time, around high school graduation, and they kind of just dropped me. So at that point, I'm there, no scholarship, torn ACL. I didn't really know what to do. I tried playing a little bit of AAU that summer. Didn't go too well. I just wasn't fully recovered from my ACL.
Right.
So everyone told me Vincennes was a perfect opportunity for me, and that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Honestly, going to Vincennes, playing for Coach Franklin. He's more of a Bobby Knight type coach. So I got a great introduction in college basketball. But every day I had to challenge myself. I figured out every single day that there was more left in the tank and there was more to do. And I don't know if I would have found that if I would have went straight D1 out of high school. So I'm always grateful for that. And obviously winning a national championship there my freshman year. 13 of the 15 guys went D1. So just going there in general, it was like you're at a Division I. Every day you're going against D1 guys.
Right.
So you have no choice but to get better, but to compete. And my freshman year, I think we were 32-2. 34-2. That was our final record. And in my sophomore year, we were very good at top 10 all year, top 5. didn't win our region, which is the automatic bid for the tournament, but we still got a at-large bid into the tournament, and then that's when COVID stopped.
Yep.
So I left JUCO with a 64-7 record. So
wow.
That was really fun. I mean,
yeah,
I could have went D1 and sat the bench for 2 years, maybe possibly developed, but going there and learning how to win at a college level and playing at a very high level was probably the best thing ever.
Right.
So when COVID hit, it canceled our tournament, and that's the big recruiting week for the D1s to come see you at the tournament, how you perform. So I had nothing. And it got to July. I still had no offers, not a D2 offer. I didn't have an NAI offer, nothing like that. And Western Illinois called me. And I committed first phone call. I was like, I'm coming. I mean, my whole goal was to get back to the Division I level. It was close to home, and I'm like, new coaching staff. I had heard about Coach Jeter before. He was a great coach. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, I got no other option. So going there, 14 new guys. The team before won 5 games. There's 14 new guys. We couldn't get into the gym until about October. And we were still in groups at that point because it was COVID. So there was a group of 5 of us, and then like another group, and then another group. So I didn't even see half of my team play till late October. I didn't know what their games were like, nothing.
Wow.
And our first game was probably 3 weeks after we all came together against Luca Garza at Iowa. So we get 70 balls. But that was my first D1 game. I'm like, oh, wow, we're here. But
was that at Iowa? I would assume that's at Iowa.
Yeah, it was at Iowa. And then, so from that point.
How bad was that score?
Oh, I think we were down 30 at half.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. I mean, you could just tell, like, it looked like open gym out there for us. Like, this guy's not doing anything. So
you're making up for only 7 losses in 2 years.
Yeah. It all came back
on one game
for sure. And then I actually was not playing very much at all. I didn't play until probably February. They had me on scout team. I always say this, kid from South Dakota, Putzlewicz, I thank him forever because they told me on scout team be him. And I don't know what it was, but that whole week I found a whole new part of my game that I didn't know I ever had. And we were playing back-to-back games that day, or that year. So we played on a Friday.
Yep.
I killed the whole week, didn't play Friday. And Saturday, I didn't play the whole first half. He throws me in with like 8 minutes left, I think. And I exploded for 17 straight points.
Damn!
Out of nowhere. And then he started me the next game, and that's when I became a point guard. And that's where I see, like, playing quarterback in high school really allowed me to translate to the point guard position, being a leader, the vision, everything. I found it to be a lot more comfortable for me. I realized, like, I love having the ball in my hands and just being able to make the right things happen. Having the control of the team, making sure things are going right. And it really allowed me to gain confidence in myself, my teammates. And we finished the game, the season, we won 7 straight going into the conference tournament. And then that offseason, we brought in 2 transfers. We knew with that great into the season that we had a lot of confidence going in. So year 2 at Western, we were very good. Opened the year at Nebraska, beat Nebraska at Nebraska, sold out crowd.
Wow.
That was amazing. And we started off, I think we were like 12-3 going into conference. And then we just hit a lot of bumps in the road, just, how teams get, the success can come a lot of pull apart from the team and everything. So that kind of factored into everything. But I knew before my second year at Western, if we didn't have a really good year, I wanted to try and leave Western and get to a higher level. And I entered the portal and fell in love with Coach Pete. And that was, I always was in love with ISU growing up and everything. And then Coach Pete just sealed the deal for me.
So you and I we were talking on the phone right before we got into this. Go into the craziness that is the portal. So you put your name into the portal. Tell everybody what it's like. Because, I was kind of blown. I assumed it was crazy, but I didn't know it was that crazy.
The second my name hit Twitter with Colton Sandage has entered the transfer portal, I probably didn't put my phone down for the next 4 days. It just coaches being car salesmen, just telling you everything you want to hear and everything. And for a while, nothing was really catching my eye. I mean, this was like my 4th time in the recruiting process, I felt like. So I could kind of decipher from what I liked and what I didn't like, what was catching my eye and not. And I always knew ISU was going to be on my short list no matter what. Even if they wouldn't have called me, I would have had it up there probably. But when Coach Peden called me first week, we didn't even talk about basketball. It was just all personal, trying to get to know me, trying to know my family, everything about me, and like what drives me and everything. And I just fell in love with him. And when he, Coach Judson had actually coached Brandon when he was here under Jankovic.
Yep. Yeah.
So I loved Coach Judson then. And then the night before my visit, Coach Peden called me. He was like, "Hey, like, how do you feel about Coach Judson being on staff?" And I'm like, "Oh, that'd be sick." And then they told me that he was joining staff. And then Coach Judson really, he looked at everybody in my meeting. I'm like, recruiting visit on my family. And he kind of asked, "How would you feel if Colton came to ISU?" And just all their responses. I'm like, all right, like, I have to come here.
Right.
So it was a long journey to get here, but I made it.
You did. It was an awesome journey.
So that first game at ISU is against Western. How was that, like, playing against, guys that were your teammates? Was there any trash talking going on, or was it just all cordial?
The whole summer leading up to it, Coach Peden called me one day. He was like, "Hey, do you want to play Western Illinois?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to play Western Illinois." I think I started talking to them then at that time, and I wish I could have been able to help more. I was just dealing with all my injuries at the time,
right.
So that didn't really help. So I tell them that doesn't count because I didn't get to do too much against them.
Exactly.
They know. But that was really cool. But most of that team was gone though. I had 8 guys leaving me at Western, so there was only a couple of guys at Western that I really knew pretty well. But I have a great relationship to this day with that coaching staff, so it was awesome to see them.
So 8 guys off that Western, your team from the year before, 8 guys left. So
yep. So
okay,
2 graduated and 5 left.
And 5 left. All right.
Yep.
Wow.
So Colton, you played for 3 different programs. I'm sure they all had different like styles and stuff like that. You want to talk about like the different styles in the programs and how it fit your game?
Yeah, for sure. So Vincent's, Coach Franklin's very old style. So everything you do, you cross over, it's between the legs. If you get in the lane, you better not turn the ball over, just stuff like that. Heel toe step, dribbling the ball outside your hip. With him, it was almost like a camp when you're little, but it was every single day. It was just straight fundamentals every single day. And everything, how you set up your guy on a drive, just everything was so structured. If you fed the ball to the post, you knew to be in the corner because it was probably going to come back to you. Just all the little stuff. Everything was just so structured, and he had so much control over us, I guess. And at Western,
let me hop in there. So he was you said a Knight-esque type coach, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so that's what I played under, right? And so it was fundamentals all pre-practice and fundamentals all post-practice and a lot of fundamentals during practice.
Yep.
But like you said, you don't turn the ball in the post. Big men get one dribble, right? I mean, we had a lot of rules like that. And I love the one you just said, fade to the corner, right? You inbound the ball to the post. I see so many programs today, they inbounds it. And you did this a lot still at ISU, but, not a lot of teams, when the guard inbounds the ball to the big, they stand right there, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes it easier to open up and help side and help down on the post and find where your man is. But like you're saying, float to the corner or float away, right, so that you're not in that same spot.
Yeah, and everything was we knew the read. So if I was in the corner, if my guy wants to dig down on you, go ahead. He's just going to kick it right back to me, and I have an open shot. It was so structured, and I don't know. You were so disciplined. We lost
right.
the game, and we come in for a 6 a.m. practice, and we practiced subbing the whole morning. And all we did was sub, running on and off the court. I mean, at the time, I'm like, what is going on? Like, now that I'm older, I'm like, I see what he was doing, just getting the discipline part down, just everything had to be a certain way. And at Western, our main goal was to be not scoutable. So he just wanted us to play. So
Really?
when he gave me the key, he pretty much gave me the keys and said, do what you need to do to help us win, you know. And that's everything.
How was that transition? Because, I mean, it's hard, like, you know, to go from structure to, like...
One of the things I would say is that structure, now that he can freelance, he still has all those solid fundamentals. Like he's talked about dribbling the ball outside your hip. Right under a night, that's a no-no, right? That ball is always in the protected zone. Talking about floating, doing all these fundamental things. You know, once you get a different style coach, that's already ingrained in you. So you're already doing that no matter what. So,
Absolutely.
Okay, but holy cow, no offense whatsoever? I mean...
We'd run, like, a lot of the stuff, if he did do something, it was a lot of Portland Trailblazer actions with C.J. McCollum and Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
Really, me and Trent, we use those two and really play off each other. But he really wanted us in transition to look for the drag screens with the guy trailing. And that's really how I felt as if I could get a guy coming in transition, I can twist the screen once or twice, and either I'm going to be open or the guy's going to be open for a wide open shot or a roll.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you just played off of that. We'd have very simple game plans. I mean, and we were scoring 9. Our goal would literally try to be outscoring people because we weren't very well rounded on defense. So we had to try to outscore people.
But there's a difference too. Like if you're at Western versus, I mean, you mentioned Iowa before, right? And you perhaps didn't have Luke Garza on your team, so getting down the floor in transition, right?
Yep.
Depending on the size of your team and stuff like that, before they set their half-court offense, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Before they said their half-court defense, you mean?
Or half-court defense, right?
Yeah.
You know, I bet you, if you look back, right, you probably had much different results running against a set-up half-court defense versus in transition.
Absolutely, it was always way harder to score, you know.
Yeah.
Well, my first year, I was really the only ball handler, so I was getting picked up 94 feet the whole game.
Oh, really?
At the same time, that really helped me because we could set the screen higher up the court, and that just you just have to create one advantage, you know, to get things flowing. But for me at Western in high school, we didn't really run much offense either. We just played.
Wow.
We just played and just motion, keep playing, and so that kind of helped me. And that's kind of how I've always been. Just I figure out.
So, are you calling no offense the motion offense? Because is that what you ran? Because if you're talking on night, because at Illinois State when I played, you know, we had a motion. You knew the 4 other people on the court, and you knew whether or not you're screening or you're receiving screens, and you're flaring and high screens and ball screens and cross screens and high lows and. So we had a motion offense. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're calling?
Not really. Once we got past
the
screen, it was kind of just play. Our main base at Western would have been cutters, flex. We'd run one flex cut and it'd be over. You know, we just didn't get the continuous motion of the flex cuts, and it really just turned into get past your guy, create, and we were very good at it. We had a lot of offensive weapons at Western. We were big. We had a lot of shooters, so that always helps out when you can bail yourself out with tough shots.
Right.
And then at ISU, big thing for Peden with me was playing off 2. I'm always on the ground. I was always on the ground. So, I was always on one-foot jumper just lunging into the lane, and sometimes you get the foul, but a lot of times you don't, especially in the Valley. You're not probably going to get that foul. So that was a big adjustment to me with Peden. He's very big on getting to the lane and playing off 2. That's his biggest thing, a lot of Villanova-style stuff. And then all his actions, I mean, I've kind of figured out in college, everybody kind of runs the same actions. It's just how you get into the action, you know?
Right.
And Coach Peden was very good at changing up how you're getting into the action depending on the team you were playing. So he's very smart offensively, and it's simple offense. It just comes down to execution and making a simple choice. And I think Peden obviously has shown at Ohio State just fundamentals, stay calm, like keep moving, keep your dribble, a lot of cuts. And you can see it developing later in the year, just with the communication with the guards, flaring, back cutting, and stuff like that. Just the terms were coming together for everyone, which of course is hard first year compared to a second year. Just everybody knowing where to be and what to say.
Yeah, and we were always taught, right, and I was explaining my stuff, but bad offense with great execution is a great offense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you have a great offense and you have bad execution, you got a bad offense.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to the execution piece of it, right? They can draw up the greatest diagram, but if you don't execute it, right, leave gaps in your screens, or guys are off or spacing out and then they're into their cut late, or, Colton and I were just talking about, right, if his man opens up with his back to the baseline, then he's going to float to the baseline, right? Because he can't, Colton's out of sight, out of mind at that point. So the post just kicks it out to the corner. The guy opens up to the middle of the lane, and he's going to float high, because you always want to be at your opponent's back, so make him turn all the way around, right? So, because as a good defender, you know where the ball and your man is. And when you was talking when they crash down on the post, if they don't know where their man is, that's how you burn them. So,
Yep.
So, Colton, do you consider yourself? I don't consider yourself like a spot-up shooter. It looks to me you look most comfortable like coming around, like curling around a thing, and like some movement into your three-point shot. Am I seeing that right or no?
It's kind of crazy because if you go look in all my high school highlights, my JUCO highlights, it was all catch and shoot, spot up threes. And then once I got to Western, I felt like everything from then on came off the dribble almost, or running off screens, or I don't know. I think that might come with the confidence thing.
yeah.
Just finding it, I guess. I don't know. I figured out I could take these type of shots in these type of situations, and just knowing that you have it there. I was always told don't dribble, I guess, pretty much growing up. I always had great guards around me that were going to find me when I was in the corner open,
So did you not play one or two in high school? Were you more of a three than in high school?
I was pretty much a three.
Okay.
I never played the one, never.
So at Vincennes, were you playing, what position were you playing at Vincennes?
Mostly two. If he wanted to go small, I would play the three. I could always play the bigger offense guys.
And then Western, we know you went to the one, and all of a sudden you were running the whole offense. So, and Steve, you and I have talked about that. One of the hard things for a college player is, again, I played 3 different spots in 5 years, right? I have a redshirt year, and it's to be good, like my boy JC, he played 4 all 4 years. He was a 4 and scored a ton of points out of the 4. Ricky was a 3 the whole time, right? And so there's something to be said about a player that's versatile. Colton, love the way you get to the basket, and you say you don't get fouled a lot, man. In that Horton game, you got to the line a lot.
I think otherwise. I think I get fouled. The refs don't.
Okay, I got to ask you, since you brought the refs up, you said they don't call fouls in NBC. You know one thing they do call?
Flops.
What? You got picked on so much on that. I don't even know what to say. It's just.
I kind of have like my whole like at Western. There was one game, so it would have been where you had to get 2 of them to get a tech or whatever before this year. And there was one game, both times I got killed on my 3-point shots and called flops both times.
Really?
It was just like, I don't know.
I think it was worse at the beginning of the year. Like they were just looking for it, right?
Yeah.
I watched the NCAA tournament, and I mean, there's people flopping down some crazy stuff. It's like it's like history. They weren't calling it at all in those games. There would no way they would call it.
The way they make it now, I think it should be reviewable. If you're going to make that off of eye judgment, if you think it's a flop or not, it shouldn't be an automatic tech. It should be at least be able to be reviewed to see if there was some contact.
So Colton, I think most people know, but growing up, you're from Bloomington, right? So you went to a whole bunch of ISU games, and your brother played on there. So talk about someone that you became friends with that was closely related to an ISU coach.
So, of course, when Brandon was there, he started off with Mosier, And then when Jankovic came in, his son Michael was my age as well. So the first 3 years.
How old were you when Brandon was playing? We were talking about this when he was on.
When Michael would have came here, I think I would have been 8. So
Around 8.
Yep, around 8 years old. So when Michael came, I mean, that was
Just old enough to remember that your shot was better than Brandon's. Is that what? Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's coming up.
Sorry, keep going.
So, I mean, it was always me and Michael at away games. You know, we were the only kids there, so we came really close to this day. That's one of my best friends. So even after Brandon left, I was in the arena every day, just running, being kids. You know, we'd just run around and play basketball all day, and that probably just added to my love of basketball. And I think I probably know the arena better than most people that have been there for 4 years. I know the insides, ins, out. Probably know all the hiding spots. But just being around, I mean, I was with Michael every single day until they took the SMU job, and just being at the house, just all the time being around. Even then, it was like Jackie Carmichael and all those guys, just being around them. So I got to form a relationship with some of those guys, and just being around it and just seeing ISU basketball. I mean, at that time, Jankovic, I mean, the program was elite, very, very elite at the time. And that's kind of was my draw as well, just always being around Jankovic and seeing how good ISU was. And I mean, to this day, I mean, Michael just got to win a national championship with Kansas, so that was pretty cool as a walk-on. So that was just really cool, just being able to grow up with the coach's kid, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know all the hiding places in Redbird Arena, but let's talk about a nice Redbird Arena moment for you. Played Eastern Michigan, as we said before. You had an okay game that day. You want to talk about that the game? I think it was 28 points. Was it 28 points? Yeah.
28. So it was actually the game before. I played 5 minutes, and Malachi got hurt, so I had no clue. And right before the game, he's like, "All right, Sandage, you're starting." I'm like, "All right." I had.
Do you like that when they just tell you at the last minute, or do you like knowing ahead of time? Because I think different people react differently to that.
He told me I was starting, and then we went out for more warm-ups. And then right as he's drawing up the play for tip-off, he goes, "Oh, you know the one, right?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So then at that point, I'm starting at the point guard. And I'm like, "All right, like, let's get it." But for me, that was kind of my first game back where I felt like myself after all my back stuff, all my injuries and stuff. And I finally felt like I was getting back into it. So it was perfect timing. And it was really fun to have one of those nights, you know, just when you're a kid. I was always watching Osiris put up 30 and every night, you know, it felt like, you know, that was the man when I was growing up. So to be able to put on a show like that in my hometown, I had a lot of people there. There's a lot of people there in general, and big hype around Imani Bates and everything. So that was really cool to do.
Yeah. So how does it feel like? Like, does this just feel like every time the ball leaves your hands, it's just going to go in?
I'd like to think so. It depends. I mean, if I see that first one go down in the game, I'm thinking everything I put up is going in.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting those grooves.
But you're in the midst of that 28. Does it just feel like?
Yeah, I actually, I remember Seneca fouled out, and there was probably about 5 minutes left. I think I was at like 20.
Yeah.
And I told myself, like, if we want to win, like, I got to score 30 here. So, and then at that point, it's just making about the right plays, and they were very aggressive, picking me up, so that just plays to my advantage and just getting to the hoop. I think I tied the Redbird Arena record for free throws made that night. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
So there's another venue, right, that Mr. Pemberton wants to talk about.
The Horton Fieldhouse Redemption, right? I said it off air. I played in the last game at Horton Fieldhouse against Butler and won that one. I played in the second last game at Horton against DePaul and lost that one. So when I saw that go in the schedule, I was like, come on, boys, redeem us. So let's talk about a Horton game, big boy.
I mean, just when they put that court up for the first practice, you could just feel it in the air, you know, just that first practice. I'm like, yo, this is sweet. Like, it was just loud in there, you know, and everything echoes. we could tell how energetic it was going to be. And then that day, I mean, right when they opened the doors, there's people sprinting the seats, and we're like, oh, like
that's how it was. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it gave me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps right now talking about it. Just you could just see the love, how much love there was for ISU basketball in Horton Fieldhouse, and to be able to come out with the win that day. I mean, if we would have lost, oh man, like, I don't know how we would have lived with ourselves. But it was so much fun playing in
Not
there.
good for 32 years. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, I wish we could play every game in there still. I mean, to this day, that was probably the best atmosphere. I mean, Nebraska was sold out. We won that game, and I'd still rather play in Horton. I mean, that place was rocking. It was so much fun.
You played well that game too, and there's some moments like, and you got, well, you were hurt coming into the season, right? Then you got better, and then you got hurt again. But you got knocked around in that game a couple times. I think your style, you kind of play with like reckless abandon. You know what I mean? And you got the football mentality, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that contributed to like some of your injuries? I don't know. You want to talk about like what was going on? And
my mom would say so, but I mean,
your mom would, but your dad wouldn't, right?
I think it's also her fault. You know, when I was younger, you weren't hurt. Get up, you're fine. You know? I just kind of. That's how I always was. I was never gonna get. I mean, actually, the Horton game, my ankle was probably this big.
Yeah.
Michigan game. So like, I don't know. It's just always just, I don't know. Pain's temporary, I guess. My mom kind of taught me. I mean, Brandon's the same way. Brandon's a big reason for that reason too. You know, he was pushing me down when I was real little, but I had to get up.
Okay, can I talk about one moment? And we won't talk about what happened led up to this, but when H ran from, I think he was in the stands or something like that. Was he shot like out of a cannon or a missile or something like that?
That was awesome.
Because you were down there, right? And you were kind of trailing that play.
Well, he took the ball from me, so.
No, I know. We were going to talk about that part.
We weren't going to say it, but
Well, so
I can't remember what happened, but all I remember is
we're old guys. We don't remember how that happened. We just know you and H were running him down.
it's okay to have selective memory. This is your podcast, okay?
So all I remember is the ball was in the air, and I kind of like slipped. So I'm like looking down, and I start running, and I just see H just zoom past me. I'm like, oh my! And then the guy wanted to try to dunk it for some reason, and H just made a great play and helped us win the game. That was a very big play. That's probably going to go down to Redbird history, honestly, just that play and the whole event going down and everything.
There's some plays like where you're at, like as a fan, right? So you're sitting in the stands, and you kind of see, because you can see a different angle. Like, I don't even know this. Like the Madison Williams dunk and Bellpole. We get this perfect angle. I just see him going to take off. I'm like, oh my god, he's going to dunk it over this guy. Like, and it happens, and you're like, holy crap! It was the same thing. He was coming towards us, and I was like, holy crap! I think he might be able to block. Like, and then at first you're like, don't foul him, and then he goes up there and just swipes it, and it's like, wow.
That was a great play. It was tremendous effort on that play for sure. Most people would have gave up.
Yeah. You want to talk about, like, you know, unfortunately at the end of the season, you were hurt, like some of the things that were going on there, and then maybe we'll talk about senior day after that.
Yeah, so early in the season, my back was preseason. October, we got an MRI. I had a pretty good bulge disc, but I was giving shots, just pretty much get me through the season. It was working for a while. Around Christmas, my calf started getting tight, and it turns out my disc was sitting on a nerve, and my left calf wouldn't fire. So from the Christmas on, I played probably 5 or 6 games, like just on one leg. It felt like I was out there galloping, and coach is still playing me 20 plus minutes, and it was just a struggle to get up and down the court. And then it finally got to a point where like we had to go see someone, and the doctor pretty much just advised me to not keep playing on it. And I'm getting surgery actually this Monday.
Good luck with that.
Get all that taken care of. So it was a tough battle all year. I felt like I never really got to 100%, honestly. But just being able to be here was awesome.
So then senior day comes, right? So that's an emotional day
Yeah.
for every senior, right? And you get to start.
Mm-hmm. So it was weird with Coach. He's like, I'm going to start all seniors, everything. And they kept asking me probably a week up, like, hey, are you going to dress? Like, what's going on? And I just kept thinking about it. I really couldn't sleep. I'm like, yeah, I want to dress, but, like, is it smart? And then I was just like, the day before, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it. Thinking he's going to throw me in, like, into the game, like most people would. He's like, all right, you're starting. I'm like, oh, my goodness. And then he puts me out there, and, like, these guys are pressuring me. I'm like, I haven't been out here in 2 months. I can't. Coach Pete is just yelling at me like, come on, Colton. I'm like, this is not what I expected. But he drew the first play up for me. Obviously, Evansville probably knew it was coming, so they shut it down. So he took me out and everything. He put me in with like a minute 20. And then obviously everybody in the gym was trying to give me the ball.
Yeah.
I finally got it. I gave him a shot fake and just like being in the backyard, just going up for a three. And that was pretty emotional just for me. Obviously getting to go out on the last make and just seeing like my teammates and everyone, that it just meant the world to me to get out there again, you know.
So when it left the hands, did you know it was in?
I was just praying.
You're praying.
That's just a shot you can't miss. Like,
no, it looks sweet. So we talked about this. You always want to make your last shot before you get off the court, right?
Yeah. Was
that part of your superstition too?
Well, so it kind of made it difficult because the last game I played was SIU, and I hit a pull-up three. That was my last shot. So that was a big thing in my head, like, I can't go out on a make. So, do I really want to dress or not? But I knew I'd have to make it, you know. Last college shot's got to go in.
Got to go in. That is awesome.
I didn't see it with you, but I've seen some other players where they're out there, and you could tell who has a superstition or not, right? The rest of the team's already walking off, and they're out there shooting, then they missed, right? And they get the ball back. They had the quick, manager to get the ball back. Yep. They miss again, and they're like, they really walk up to the thing and shoot like a 1 foot thing. That's good. I made it, man. I'm off the court now.
I always made a 1 foot thing, right? I mean, make a layup, dude. I mean,
yeah.
So we are back, and for episode 32, we decided to bring in a special guest, Brandon Holtz, Colton's older brother. Now, you heard Colton earlier say he had to be tough because every time he would try to play with Brandon, he'd just push him down like an older brother does to a younger brother. So, brother abuse. So I got a question for them, but the first is we're going to talk jerseys. So Colton had a whole bunch behind. We know Brandon's got his. I'm starting with the pathetic jersey that I have. That is my 1988 jersey. No name on the back. So anybody could have wore that jersey.
That guy?
No, it's like, I don't know what it is.
It was Rick Lamb's. It was a hand-me-down.
It is a hand-me-down. It is Rick's. Yeah, we know that. And then, so there's my white jersey that I got out of the dumpster after Donowell got fired. Behind North Gym, walking out by the training room, they had thrown all our old stuff away, and we just went in there. I got shorts, too. And then, of course, the only decent thing I got is the Valley Championship T-shirt. Wait, you two don't have one of these? Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be watching that. Oh, that was just so mean. I'm sorry. All right, Brandon, what do you got? What's your show and tell?
I got my away jersey. I think this was from my junior year, maybe, but from freshman to sophomore year, they were all pretty similar.
Wait,
just a little mesh.
Turn around and show your back. You only could. That's only, the font's only big enough to see it from the first or second roll.
Hey, when you sit on the bench the whole game, the fourth or fifth row.
Stop.
Oh, we got shots of you. We got video of you making a three, so it had to happen at least once. All right, Colton, let's see what the modern jersey looks like.
So I actually didn't even get to wear this jersey. I didn't ever get to wear the red this year.
You didn't get to wear the red?
No, because we have 5 jerseys this year, so the road games that we played, we always wore the black, and I never got to wear it, but here's this one, so we've gotten a little better.
That is sweet jersey.
Here's the black one, which I really like this one. The shorts had the throwback logo on them, so
yeah,
that was always cool.
That's the one you wore at Horton, right?
No, we wore the white.
The white one at Horton. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I don't have that one with me. And we also had this gray one. This one might have been my favorite.
Okay, we're going to ask you. So you have a white, a red, a black, and a gray. Which is your, as a player, what is you and your teammates, what's your favorite? Because I'm assuming, Brandon, you didn't have gray when you played, right?
No, we just had red and white.
Thank you, brother.
I think
us old guys.
Everybody really likes the black. The black's pretty cool. I liked it too on the road. But my personal favorite's the gray, probably.
Do they let you vote, like, which ones you want to play? No?
No, it was a... Never knew what was going to be in the locker that day.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I traded, I jersey swapped Luke Kazuki, of course, so I got his K-State one as well.
That's good.
Nice.
Nice.
That is nice. That is nice. All right, so my question is...
real quick, 5 jerseys this year. I think when we showed up, we got a jersey our freshman year and held on to it until our senior year.
I even had it worse than you. I got to go grab mine off the floor. Mine was Rick Lamb's jersey, right? And then they gave it to me 4 years later, or 2 years later. So I didn't get to pick my number. I walked in and they said, "You're number 53." I'm like, I look over at my buddy Gerard and they're like, "You're number 52." And he's like, "Well, that's the number Hank had." And I'm like, "That's number Rick had." They're like, "Yeah, you're supposed to be the next Rick and Hank. That's what you're supposed to do." So, I mean, we didn't even pick our numbers.
Did you get to pick your number, Colton, or no?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did.
Brandon, did you get to pick your number?
Not in
Yeah. I didn't have to fight
All right,
out
so-
wearing 45, so it wasn't really much of a
Yeah. That's pretty. Nobody likes those high numbers anymore. Very rarely do you see anybody above, and even in the 40s, very rarely, let alone the 50s. So, all right, if we could compare Colton as a senior and Brandon as a senior, who's got better range?
Well, me all day. He just got to show it off a little bit more than me. I mean, I taught him, right?
He taught me how to shoot. Yeah, he taught me how to shoot, so you would think I'd have to be better, right?
Well, yeah, yep. All right.
All right, next question. Who's got more dunks?
I do, for sure.
That's the next question.
Who can drive the golf ball farther?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that one.
All right.
Now there's their game. Now we're back.
Colton, Colton, does he give you strokes when you guys play?
Yeah, but most of the time I'm just watching, like, it's like watching a professional golfer, so it's just really fun to
Well,
watch.
he was a professional golfer.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, we have fun out there. It's a good time. It's a comic relief when we both get out and play. We both have a good time and throw our other brother Brent in the mix, and then it's just trouble.
Colton, I don't know if you know this, but man, I'd see your brother, and when you were on fire, that your brother looked like he had the biggest grin in the world. I'd come over to him at halftime, and he's like, like against the Eastern Michigan game, and he's got 14. He's got to get to 30. He's got to get to 30. And then when you were having an off game or you were hurt, he was just, it looked like somebody
He's up
kicked
there
his.
pacing.
Yeah.
You always see him up there pacing.
Yeah. You always had a true fan in your brother, right? That was pretty awesome. I thought that was always very cool.
Now, he sat not behind your bench. I mean, a little bit up, right? Could you actually hear him every once in a while?
No,
There you go.
Would always be like, "How are you not hearing him?" But never heard him too much.
You throw the emotion and the competitiveness, and then the want for him to do better. And sometimes you just got to go walk it off.
So that's a good question. Who's the most competitive person in your family?
We're all pretty competitive. I mean,
I'd say it's a toss up. We wouldn't be, where we were, and do what we did without being, supremely to the top. We try to be the most supreme we can, and that's how we, raised and taught Colton how to play. If you're not the best, you're not going to play. Mom and Dad's not going to come up and get you in the game. You got to do what you need to do to get into the game. And
right.
you know, that's just is what it is, and it's all about, you know, when I was on this show earlier, you know, scoring. That's so I told Colton all grown up, score. And then obviously you guys watching the games this year saw some of that from him. It just unfortunately,
absolutely,
not more. It wasn't due to him; it was due to just, you know, playing basketball,
injury.
Hurt,
yeah,
you know, it happens.
It does.
I think a lot of that started. So Brandon, Brent, and my sister Brooke, they all won junior high state championships. So I never did, so I always heard that growing up. I always heard that, but I got one in high school. I didn't get the championship, but I got there at least.
Yeah.
Well, and then the junior college championship, that's pretty good too.
That tops, a college championship, you're Colton. Whenever they say, "Hey, I got an 8th grade state championship," you just got to break that ring out and just show them the hardware, right? Because they didn't give rings for 8th grade state championships.
When that's all you got in your back pocket, you got to throw it out sometime.
Yes, you do. All right, so this has been awesome. Brandon, thank you for hopping on. Colton, here's where we get a chance with you to close, get a chance to say whenever you want a closing. So here's your floor.
Well, first off, thank you guys for having me. It was awesome just talking, and this year was awesome just seeing the overwhelming support of Illinois State basketball is coming from my other programs. It's just crazy to me. I see how much support we really have, and I can tell Coach Peden's going to get this thing in the right direction very soon. So very excited for the future of Redbird basketball.
Yeah, we all are. And Colton, it was proud to watch you play, right? You know, like Brandon, I know he's your brother, but he's also a former player in that Redbird Brotherhood, right? To see the next generation come out and the way you would just go at the opponents and lay it out on the line and go in hard. It was awesome, right? And then to redeem Horton Fieldhouse, that's icing on the cake, right? And so, very proud of you. So for episode 32 of Bird Fans, thank you very much, Colton Sandage. And Jon, let's take it out.